All right, now let's move on to Zimbabwe, where the country has joined the United Nations and the European Union to launch a 16-day campaign against gender-based violence as the country witnessed an increase in child marriages.
A safe market space and a one-step center were set up in Epworth, a suburb of Harare, at the launch of the campaign themed End Violence Against Women Now, No to Child Marriages.
Now, as a global strategy to tackle gender-based violence, the campaign runs from yesterday, November 25th, which was the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls, and ends on Human Rights Day, which will be on the 10th of December. All right, now our correspondent Lallah Ngwenya joins us now on this story. Thank you very much for joining, Lallah. Now, the government of Zimbabwe has themed this year's commemoration No to Child Marriages. But really, how relevant is this theme, especially months after the death of the 14-year-old? Remember her? Memory Mashaya.
Good morning, Oluchi. The theme has come at the right time when Zimbabweans and different civil society organizations, as well as women's groups, have been calling for the government to take a stand on the end to child marriages, which has been a scourge in the country for years, and nothing seems to be done over the years. And joining me this morning to discuss further on the issues of child marriages and this year's theme and Parliament stance on joining civil society to fight this scourge of child marriages is Whispers, an organization called Whispers, which is a young feminist movement and women's rights advocate, who is the director of the movement.
Beautiful. Now,
good morning, Sibo.
Good morning, Sibonokule Bulungo. Thank you very much for joining. Now, you are the director for Whispers Initiative. Now, how do we prevent violence against women? Are there really strategies that need to be put in place to make sure that violence does not continue at this rate?
Thank you so much, Oluchi, and good morning, everyone. So, yes, we are trying to put pressure on government and on Parliament to try and make sure that as soon as possible, the electoral reforms that protect women from any political violence and from any violence are implemented as soon as possible. Civic society organizations are also doing online campaigns. We are going to be having a march demonstrating against violence on women and girls, because this takes away the confidence that young women have, and even women, to even participate in leadership positions or take up any roles, because where do you get the confidence when you are wounded outwardly and inwardly? So yes, there is efforts being done by civic society to put pressure even on the police, that if any cases of violence are reported, they should act on them, because for such a long time, these cases go unattended to. Before you hear it, the perpetrator has been released. So we want 10 sentences that should be implemented by Parliament. Civic society will continue to mount pressure on the police, on the leaders, on council, on Parliament, and even on the president. We are going to continue issuing petitions of 10 prison sentences that should be given to those people who are the perpetrators of violence.
All right, Sibo, thank you very much again for joining us this morning. But Sibo, what is your organization, Whispers, doing to get young women involved in this campaign, and especially when it comes to child marriage? Sibo, culturally, that is still an issue within families everywhere, not just in Zimbabwe.
It is, definitely it is. You're very right. And the good thing is Whispers works with the really affected target group, the girls from 18 years going up to 25. So we've tried to recruit our girls, because we can only go as far as equipping them with information that they'll be able to disseminate, to fight against child marriages, and to tell them that it is wrong. It is their right to get proper education, go to school, complete their education, and they should not be forced into any marriages. And Whispers continues to, again, like I've said, petition Parliament to put the stern measures against any old men that want to marry these children. It's a very difficult issue to tackle, and it saddens us, because it makes the future of our young girls so bleak. Imagine you're finishing grade 7, we are only 13 years and there's an old man waiting to marry you. So we will continue to push these pressures. Unfortunately and sadly, that's the furthest that we can do, to continue put pressure, to continue putting out messages, to continue making social media campaigns, and to continue making skits where young women themselves speak against this. We are trying to penetrate the areas, especially here in Zimbabwe, that we know are at peak with these child marriages, to go and actually get into the areas and speak against them. The other thing that we are aware of as an organization is, in some communities, it's actually lack of information. These girls are born into these closed areas. They have no information. They do not know what is wrong and what is right. So we are trying to mobilize resources to go and penetrate in such areas, conscientize the girls, and build a bright future for them.
All right. Now, Lallah, I mean, in Zimbabwe in this 2021, Zimbabwe, the country witnessed an increase in child marriage. And that's why the theme for this year in Zimbabwe is say no to child marriage. But we already understand, Lallah, that in your country, there is a law, there are laws that criminalize anybody who is getting married to a girl who is younger than 18. Why then do we need more laws if we already have one in your country that should stop it?
That's a very good question, Oluchi. So we are actually in the process of amending the marriage bill, or rather what they call it is going to be targeting marriage of underage girls. So this is the thing with Zimbabwe. You are considered an adult at 18 years old, but however, you can consent to marriage at the age of 16. And what has made it even worse is that we have religious sects that continue to promote these child marriages, and nothing has been done towards these perpetrators of child marriages. And these young girls are taken from school. Like what Sibo alluded to earlier, these young girls are married off as young as 12, 13 years. And this has been happening for years, and the government has done nothing. Now, the death of Memory Machaya in July, it's sort of like it sparked an already existing problem that was there in the country that kept being swept under the rug. And now, because it brought attention of the world, even UN Women was involved. They had something to say about the death of this 14-year-old girl. Now things seem to be moving towards the right direction, though the Marriage Bill Act is still under negotiations. It hasn't been passed yet, and we are hoping, we had hoped actually a few months ago when the Memory Machaya issue happened, that by now we'll be talking a different story. But there seems to be, a laziness and a slowness when it comes to enacting new laws that completely criminalizes anyone who marries a child under the age of 18, anyone under the age of 18. And basically speaking, we can't even say child marriages. This is child rape. This is rape that continues to happen within our communities in Zimbabwe, and it's very worrying for a society that calls itself educated.
All right, so just before we let you go, Sibo, yesterday, 25th of November, marked the start of International Day for to end violence and eliminating against women. And now your country, Zimbabwe, has started this 16-day activism against gender-based violence. As the director of Whispers, right now on the forefront, we're talking the violence against women, and also specifically for Zimbabwe now, for the parliament, ending child marriages. What would you say would be success for you, or perhaps a marking point after these 16 days?
Oh, thank you for that. That's profound. And I think what we have actually done for this year's 16 days is actually to do tracking of the cases that are going to be reported during these 16 days compared to the ones that were reported last year. So we are going to be actually doing taking records of the cases being reported and seeing that with the efforts and the campaigns that we have done, is there going to be a decrease in these campaigns or in the cases or not? And also we are making sure that we are going on all community radios and national radios, preaching again the same message of no to GBV. We are also trying to reach out even in different constituencies, and also just to see how communities are responding, because of late we have just been doing these campaigns and not really engaging the people that are affected from community level. So this year's campaigns are so different because we're actually going deep into the communities, and interesting enough, we are engaging even the men, because we are trying to get to the source or where this gender-based violence really comes from. What are the challenges? So we are doing more thorough research than we did the previous years. I think this is why the violence has continued and cases have been rising, because we have not been able to deal with the root cause of GBV. So we have taken a different strategy to actually try and understand where this emanates from.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the program with us today. Breakfast Central, Sibonokule Bulungu, Whispers Director, and also, as always, our correspondent out there in Zimbabwe, Harare, Lallah Ngwenya. Thanks so much for coming on the program once again.